All righty. I think I ran enough intros to get this show on the road. Sorry, there's stuff laying on my floor that I was contemplating picking up before the show started. And, I'm going to do it. You never know when you might need a yellowish colored pencil. And it can't do me any good on the floor. Welcome. It's this is kind of like a Aaron Live last second live stream, but it's actually another episode of AD 2026, which is Aaron and David drawing pictures. David hasn't rolled in yet, but that's okay. He will get here in a few moments. And with all these draw streams, the purpose is to create artwork that promotes Barbaric Adventures. There it is. And then I'm also going to put up on the campaign page to continue to raise funds for this wonderful project that if you haven't backed, you should really consider backing. And because it's one of those things you're not going to want to miss out on. High octane adventure. 3 different stories. Primal Zone by me, which is an interdimensional dinosaur story, if you will. There's our characters right there behind us, including a dinosaur. David Williams is presenting a story of a young knight, medieval knight that fights demons to become a true warrior. Dan Lawless also offers up a story called Mars Madness, where a futuristic Mars falls into chaos and the society collapses and one man leads a rebellion against the powers that have seized control there. So a lot of good high octane, high tea excitement, adventure in the classical sense of like Edgar Rice Burroughs or Robert E. Howard or that type of stuff. And I don't think we've seen enough of that in recent years. So we're bringing it back and we're bringing it strong. So check it out. You'll find a link in the description of this video, also pinned to the top of the chat. You'll find a link if you're watching on X. Go ahead and run over to my homepage on X, my profile page, and you'll find a link there. Or you can just go straight to Indiegogo, type in Aaron Lopresti, or type in Barbaric Adventures, and it'll take you right to the campaign. We are just a couple backers away right now. Let's see. Let me refresh this. We are 33 backers away from 400 backers. And once we get to 400 backers, we're going to be raffling, not auctioning, raffling off a piece of original artwork by either me or Dangerous Dan Lawless that one of you lucky backers will receive for free. But we'll do that once we hit 400. Backers, and we're only 33 away, so consider backing this campaign and being a part of that potential massive winning of an original piece of artwork. So we do have a few people here. I'm continuing to stall as David is probably eating lunch or something right now. Creative Faye is here. Conway Gritty, I like that. 73 is here. Says David is an absolute beast artist. He is indeed. Steve and Heather, I remember that now. Is joining us. Stephen De La Vega is joining us. Lord Hinson, Comic Skater, is joining us. And Darren Wagner says, awesome piece last night, Aaron. Well, I only go on the King's show, well, for 2 reasons. One reason, the primary one, is to win. Voice is a little rough, sorry. The other, so I take it very seriously when I go on there. The other is, of course, to make a little money in the auction. So, and you can't do that if you don't do a good piece of artwork, and you can't win if you don't do a good piece of artwork. So my goal every time going on that show is to do the best I can with the subject matter we're given. So I appreciate you, Darren, saying that very much. JP Roca says, what's good? Lunch is for the week. Yeah, I just had breakfast not too long ago. So lunch isn't in the cards for me for a while, at least until we're done with this. So anyway, as I continue to wait for David to stroll on in here at his, at his leisure, and I know he's going to be here because I just talked to him like 20 minutes ago. So, this is true. This is true, and when you got the wolf respecting you, then I think you've accomplished something. And that's so I feel pretty good about myself. All righty, let me. What I'm going to do is the great thing about. Come on, baby. There we go. I wasn't sure if that was going to come up or not. The great thing about this campaign, Barbaric Adventures, is it's just absolutely giving me a ridiculous excuse to draw the stuff I love to draw the most, which is, barbarians, cavemen, dinosaurs, cave women with spears and flowing red hair. These are my dream assignments, really, that I never had in the mainstream world, because this is the type of stuff they would never take a chance on. I mean, gosh, excuse me. Marvel had Kazar, true, but certainly not one of their better selling magazines. Although I think he did all right in Savage Tales, but on his own, monthly book, not so much. And then, of course, DC had The Warlord, which was sort of it was a Middle Earth. When I say Middle Earth, I don't mean Lord of the Rings. I mean the center of the Earth. The Edgar Rice Burroughs idea that the Earth is hollow and there's a land of dinosaurs and cavemen and all that kind of stuff down there. But in terms of sort of being a mainstay in the comics industry, we had some of that in the 70s when they were trying to, had Skull the Slayer, and they were trying to do more sword and sorcery, trying to find a different market other than superheroes, because the comic sales were waning, and they were looking for different subject matter that might light a fire. And so you saw a lot of monster stuff and you saw a lot of fantasy stuff coming out, but it didn't really last that long. And they ended up going right back to superheroes in the 80s, when we had sort of a renaissance of or resurgence or rebirth of superhero stuff, led by Frank Miller and John Byrne and Walter Simonson and that ilk. So certainly, especially when I broke into comics in the late 80s, early 90s, nobody was doing, cavemen. So, dinosaur books, but it's what I grew up on. It's my Frazetta influences, and to a lesser extent, Wrightson is more, of course, the monster stuff. But I always loved this stuff because Frazetta definitely was, before even Wrightson, was my first influence and my biggest influence. And so getting to do this stuff on the regular, even if it is just for a short time, is really a pleasure for me. So any excuse to draw cave girls and dinosaurs, I'm probably going to take it. Jimmy Owens for $5. Jimmy, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Mom got an eviction notice at 8 a.m. because of Social Security not sending her last 2 months' checks. She had no money coming in. Bottom line, it's paid and not by us. Well, thank you very much for the $5. Jesus, and I really appreciate it, Jimmy. You probably should hang on to that cash. It sounds like things are pretty tough over there, but it's great to know that the stuff got paid, and that's good news. So, but thank you for the 5. Appreciate it. Am I going to have to call David? He still hasn't wandered in yet. Creative Phase corrected me, saying Jules Verne did The Journey to the Center of the Earth. So it's yeah, and that would have predated Edgar Rice Burroughs. So maybe Burroughs ripped off Jules Verne, which, I think, man, I cannot get my throat clear. But anyway, we give a lot of credit to guys like, Edgar Rice Burroughs and Robert E. Howard because they created stuff that we love, but they weren't really genius writers. They did come up with some good concepts. But even though those concepts may not have been original. I get so used to drawing men, superheroes, heroes with these really big hands. Kind of got to be careful not to do that with your female characters, even though I tend to do it a little bit. My goodness, what is going on with me? I wonder if it's allergies. I do have really bad hay fever and stuff. I think I need to put a little bit more look of concern on her face, and you'll see why in just a minute. Yeah, I'm going to switch this actually. I think I'll put this hand here, like gripping, and then I'll have this one holding up the knife. Let's see, how do I want to do this? My favorite part of drawing the female figure is the midriff and the hips, because that's where you get your sort of hourglass. And so I never like to cover up this area right in here because it breaks up the flow of the figure. If you're wondering, I'm using a regular blue coal erase pencil. I used to use the light blue, but they quit making it. Should I do a knife like that? cartoon. Okay, I think I got it figured out. All right, I'm calling David. Let's see what he has to say for himself. Okay, now he's not answering. All right, so this may just be the A show. That's false advertising. I apologize. I still think he's going to wander in here. Okay, there we go. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do right there. Oh, here he is calling me back. Hey, coming on? Okay. All right. Well, I'll hold the fort down till you can squeeze in. All right. All right, Matt. Technical difficulties coming from David Williams right now. So we shall we'll see if he's able to defeat them. All right, so what is she hiding from behind this tree? Well, of course it's a T-Rex. Why wouldn't it be? So we get a little bit of T-Rex action here. If he comes out like this, the light would probably be right about there. Put a little jungle back here. I'm gonna have to look at one of my I used to be able to just knock these T-Rex heads out. But I still, you'd think I would be back into sort of a more of a rhythm with these things than I currently am. Because I used to draw them all the time, and then I wouldn't draw them for a while, and then couldn't really get them right. But I'm getting back to that point now where I wasn't sure this was going to turn out, but I think it is. Without checking reference, I mean. So. Yeah, let's see, how am I going to do this? Do it like this. Sean Willits is here. Mikey's Madness is joining us. Says hi, Aaron, in chat. She's beautiful. Thank you. Bob and Casey says, I made Ethan quit his draw stream. What did you say to him? I thought Ethan was sick today or something. I think he posted something that he was sick today. But was he joining the draw stream? Well. Jimmy says, I refuse to take money from Mom for what I paid. Month is almost half over, and I got enough for my bills. So I wanted you to know how much I love and appreciate you and Shelly. So $5 isn't much. Well, thank you, Jimmy, very much for that. I appreciate it. Past Master Dan says mildly ill. Okay. Well, I kind of feel like we're all sort of mildly ill most of the time. I think I gotta be careful here. I've actually got a T-Rex painting right behind me that I drew. I don't know why I'm not looking at that. I want to be careful. I don't make its snout too long. And this upper jaw too wide. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll have him looking. I might draw this tree stump thing here a little bit back so that we can see a little bit more of the T-Rex. So I think what I'll do is I'll have him like turning. He just heard a noise, or maybe he sees her hair blowing in the wind right there. And it's a dead giveaway, that red hair. Oh, there's David. All right, dude, you're here. You made it.
I've been here for about an hour.
You're so full of it. I just checked.
How's it going?
Good. As you can see, I've got some action going here.
Yeah.
You know what you should do? You should finish that piece you started last week.
Yeah, I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah, because that was like practically done. All you have to do is like ink it up.
Hello, everybody in the chat.
It's David Williams, everyone.
So when did you just do this?
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for you.
Wait a minute. How late was I?
You just came. You're 17 minutes. You're almost a half hour late.
Oh, okay.
27 minutes.
My bad.
Well,
Junky camera and computer.
Yeah, well, I spent big bucks on a Mac, and so I have less problems, but it's a lot of money. These Macs ain't cheap.
I don't, ever since I got a PC, like most people go, oh, ever since I got a Mac. And when I used to be exclusively Mac, and then when I went to PC, I was like, I like PCs better.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've never actually owned a PC, so because it feels like I would have to learn something new, which I'm not a big fan of. So that's why I never do anything, is because it's like, oh, do I have to read? Do I have to, it's just like,
reading. Oh, man.
If someone can tell me, if someone will just tell me how to do something, then I'm like, okay, or show me. But if I got to read, forget it.
Well, that's how I was with Photoshop, and all my so-called friends who said they were going to show me never showed me. So I never learned.
Wait a minute. I don't think you're referring to me, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the ones that step up to say, oh, I'm going to show you. Oh, we'll just do we'll do it online. I'll show you. We'll do a stream and we'll figure it out. I'll show you all my techniques. Crickets.
Well, I'll do that, except what I know is not a great deal. I know just enough to get done what I need to get done.
Yeah.
And that's it. You notice this chick's hair is flowing.
Yeah, I noticed.
Right out behind the tree so the T-Rex can see her hair. Totally gave her away.
That's hilarious. They should do something like that. Like someone's hiding, but the wind does something to make a woman's hair just go, and they go, got you, bitch.
behind the tree.
Yeah, cut your ass. That'd be awesome.
Well, you're seeing it right here. So
Yeah.
I actually did that for your benefit. I thought, you know what? I'm going to have her hair flowing. Why not have her give it away? Give her permission.
I think at this point, it's you can't help it. It just is.
Dude, it is so much a part of what I do when I mean, I was looking at, you know, like when I was working on Wonder Woman, you go look at my pages in Wonder Woman, unless she's standing inside, her hair is moving all the time.
Yeah.
And same with Ms. Marvel. If she was like sitting in a chair in a room, it was, it was just straight down on her shoulders. But if she's outside or moving, that hair is flowing, man. Right. And I don't even know if you look at Frazetta's stuff, because I'm trying to figure out where I got that from. Mm-hmm. But his hair, his girls are mostly moving, especially the ones that are, like jungle chicks or whatever. Not always, but if there's any movement with the girl, usually that hair is swirling to a certain degree. And that's probably where I got it from.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's good to show that there's life, going on in environments or, affecting your character. So it's a storytelling thing.
That's right.
It's just, there's always just heavy wind in your environment.
Right. The funny thing is, if you're in the jungle, there probably isn't that much wind. It's just like super high humidity. So your hair would just be like frizzed out all the time.
Yeah.
At least it was for Shelley. She hated Florida because of that. Just go outside and her hair would just go.
Yeah. I heard you did a drawing yesterday.
I did.
Can we see it?
Oh, you mean my winning? There it is. Look at that big old knife I gave Johnny, man. He's ready to just.
I know. I'm like, you never do that in a cartoon today.
I was going to give him a gun, but I thought, I'll just give him a knife because Jade's already got the guns. So.
Yeah. She's got the double guns.
Yeah. Haji's got no weapon, just his fists.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that was sold that in the auction last night. So.
Now, what size is that again?
11 by 14.
Okay. That's a decent size. Someone underpaid for it.
I like to have a little bit of room to move around in. And actually, I started that and then redrew it because I didn't like how it was coming out the first time.
Yeah.
So there's the old dog, just like clockwork. Oh. Aaron's online. I'll start barking.
Exactly.
Yours does the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I closed the front door because they could see the front door from my bedroom. Oh,
so anybody that walks by or
shadows? What are you talking about? Like if a bird is flying too high and it casts a shadow and flickers, and they're like, like sheesh.
I know. It's like, shut up.
Have her clutching her chest.
I just got to get my my elbow placed correctly here, and I think
that's always hard, and that's a difficult angle, almost for anybody.
Yeah, well, you can get away with sort of messing around with, giving a guy his arms too long or whatever, gigantic hands. You do it to a girl, and it just sort of really can throw off the attractiveness of the.
Is she hiding in front of a rock or something like that?
Well, it's a rock covered with some vines and crap. So. Hey. Shelly's wandering in, just had a procedure yesterday on her neck, so she's
Shelly.
Out of it. I am out of it.
Are you wearing the Batman cowl?
The what?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, you guys are on. You're sorry.
Yeah, I'm streaming.
Oh my gosh, sorry. I thought you were just on the phone with David. Oh, yeah, no, I'm. Oh, man, they did a steroid epidural into my neck, but there's so much scar tissue that had to keep going down levels to like T3. So they couldn't get the steroids to go in. That was fun. That wasn't that painful. It was just I was higher than a kite when I left.
You might argue she still is.
I feel it. I'm gonna go down and get coffee. Hi everybody. I miss you guys. Miss you.
He said, "We love you, Shelly."
Oh. We always talk about how awesome our chats are.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun.
He said, "Praying for you, Shelly."
Thank you, love. Oof. Yep.
They said, "Now get out, Shelly."
I'm watching him draw. They're like, quit whining. Quit whining. Actually, I've got the I just woke up voice.
Well, I've been trying to shake it for like an hour. I can't.
Shake it off.
David, are you going to...
How you feeling, David? Doing awesome?
I'm okay.
Good.
Are you going to turn your camera on and draw?
Hey, you don't worry about that.
Mind your own business.
My
Lopresti.
My voice is entertaining enough.
Okay, I want you to finish that piece.
I know you do.
That's why you're not doing it?
I mean, I don't want to embarrass you. God.
Oh, my. Okay.
Look at all the love. All right, coffee. Coffee.
Just organizing.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start inking. Now that I got my blue line done. There it is. I don't, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way?
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to grab that right now because there's I don't know if I ever have drawn correctly. I remember I got this book back in right when it came out. That tells you how old I am, right? So I got this book when it came out, and which I think was 75, 78. Okay, so I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And
hold on. Creative Faye is pointing out that it was Gary's birthday. Yes, we talked on Sunday, and he's 70.
Oh, did you just reveal his age? Was that what you were supposed to do that? I thought Gary was trying to keep that secret.
I could have said 80.
Okay, so yeah, I wished him a happy birthday too, but I didn't announce it on my show because I wasn't sure if he wanted, if that was like, I didn't necessarily want everybody to know. I don't know. Okay, so like right here, okay, on this, see, I'm going to go large here for a second just to, okay, so you've got the Buscema way here where he's basically outlining two approaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do the stick figure, and then you do your basic cylinder shapes and everything around the stick figure, then it becomes Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
right? He shows the same thing with Spider-Man here, the stick figure. I have always been more of this kind of an artist where I just kind of scribble my way to the figure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do like kind of a quick little, but I don't do a stick figure. I basically do like a rough of the outline of the figure, right? Kind of just block it in, and then I start squiggling around until I get it to the finished piece.
Yeah.
Like this is a pretty good example right here, like this drawing of Sif. And I've always drawn like that. So that's a great drawing of the Submariner right there.
Man, this guy, yeah, that's one of my favorite drawings ever. This guy had all the originals, and he had them at Big Wow, and he was showing them off.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and they're so beautiful. And there's this other guy who was going around getting, at a different show, getting professional artists and inkers to ink those splash pages.
Really?
Yeah, and I said, that's such a great idea. I think he got Kevin Nolan to ink one at the show, and it was so nice.
I inked, when Steve Morger used to, like at Big Wow, they would every year, they would have a little, like an art auction to try and raise money for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they'd say, yeah, we'll bring you out, but contribute to the art auction so it'd help us pay for what you do to bring you out.
Yeah.
And, which I think is legit, I guess. And so anyway, I would, one of the years he had was, there was a blue line of an Adam Hughes Wonder Woman piece, which I inked, and then that went in the auction. But one of the other ones was a Buscema cover from Avengers that was rejected. So it was the pencil to, no, I take that back. It was actually the blue line to the cover they used.
Wait a minute. It was rejected. What does that mean?
Well, there's some covers out there, some pencil drawings of Buscema covers that they decided to change or didn't like, and so they
okay. I thought they rejected your.
No. And but this one was actually one that was on the cover of, like, what was it, 71 or 70 or somewhere in that neighborhood, Avengers, and it was a Buscema cover, and I inked it, and tried to ink it kind of like Sinnott might have inked it or something, but that was a lot of fun. That was really cool to kind of like feel like you were contributing to a Buscema piece. It was really, and it wasn't that hard to ink. That was a nice thing about it. Like one of the years they gave us like a Wrightson Frankenstein page, and I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me! I'm not even going to try and ink this. That's insanity. That's like Gary Martin territory. I'm just staying away from that. But Buscema was a lot easier to ink.
Yeah, and his is kind of malleable when you could do like a really kind of slick, like, modern line, and it'll still read as Buscema, or you could use those thick, chunky lines that they did from back in the day.
Yep.
And it still works. Not everybody's art could work that way.
No, he had, if you think about guys like that and Romita, they didn't put like the level of detail in their work that we put in now.
Oh, no.
And so it was very sort of like bold but so specific to themselves that even without a ton of detail, you can still, like you said, you can have different inkers ink Buscema, and you always know it's Buscema.
Yep.
I don't know that I ever had that. I had people ink me sometimes, and I looked at it, and I wasn't even sure if it was me.
Oh my goodness!
I know, and I drew it, and I was like, "Wow, what is this?" But yeah, that never happened with Big John.
Did you ever meet him?
No, the last year that he was alive, he was at San Diego, or I should say the last San Diego before he passed away. And actually, I think he did pass away like 6 months after that or something.
Really?
He had a spot in Artist Alley.
Mm.
Marie Severin was there, and I did get to meet her. I got a sketch from her, but John was never at his table. I went back there throughout the con multiple times to see if he was at his table. I desperately wanted to get a sketch from him, right?
Yeah.
And he was never there.
Wow.
And then he like later that year or the next year, before I would ever get a chance to see him at another con or something, he passed away. So it was like I never got to meet him or get any art from him, and it was so dumb because, and I have so many stories like this, but because he was at San Diego, there was a lot of dealers that had his artwork, and it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
Because he was very prolific, obviously, so there was a lot of it out in the market, and he was, like, I don't know that, I think John became more revered after he passed than he was when he was still alive, where people, everybody, knew he was great and all that kind of stuff, but they just kind of took him for granted. He was working on that Wolverine book for Marvel, which, he was just basically doing layouts for.
Yeah.
And, so his name was out there, but it wasn't like, high-end Buscema stuff.
Yeah.
That was usually in Savage Tales or Savage Sword, the really good Buscema stuff. But anyway, so I just don't think, people had the appreciation for his work, because I could have gotten, this guy had a stack of Buscema layouts. Like we have all those, those pages where he has all those little figures on them.
Yeah.
Half-drawn Conans and things like that. And they were like $150, $200 a piece. Those go for over $1,000 a piece now.
Of course.
But I could have grabbed one or two of those, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe because I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to go see him at his table. I'm going to get a sketch or whatever. And, but yeah.
The things we know now.
I know. So dumb so many times. But it usually came down to the same, situation. I really didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they were like, because we never thought that the original art would blow up like it did. So you figure, like I've told the story where I could have got an EC splash page of Graham Ingles' Old Witch for $500.
Wow.
$500 was entirely what I made at the show. So I would have spent every dime I made and not even been able to pay off my credit card for the debt I.
Were you married at the time?
Huh?
Were you married at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you did the right thing.
So I would have, I might have gotten a little bit of trouble.
If you were single, I would have said, you could have.
Yeah. But no, I was married. And gosh, I was holding that thing in my hand. I was like, $500. Now that thing is probably worth 20 grand,
Yeah.
So disappointing.
So hard to, because the temporary pain. You're just like, I just don't want to go through it. And you don't realize, but there's some of those guys out there that knew. It's like they were just gobbling that stuff up.
Yep.
They felt it. They're just like, oh, I'll take it,
Well, I learned a lesson, but it wasn't until much later in life that I met this guy who owns a poster shop. I think it's still open on Hollywood Boulevard, one of the few left. And there was a book came out, and I've told this story before, but gosh darn it, I'll tell it again. There's a book published about his poster collection called Graven Images.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've got that book someplace, but I can't. Whenever I bring it up, I can't ever find it, and I don't understand why it eludes me every time. It should be in with my Movie Monster stuff, and it doesn't ever seem to be there. I'm looking for it right now as I'm stalling. What the? I'm going to pull a David Williams. What the?
What the?
It should be right here, and it's not. So I don't know. But anyway, he has this, tremendous movie poster collection. And I went in, and he was actually in his shop. I was down there with Josh, because this is back when Josh was interning at Legacy Special Effects.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were down there kind of perusing this. It would have been over 10 years ago now, I guess. Hollywood Boulevard, and it was like one of the few poster shops still around.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, every time I'd been there in the past, it was always closed.
Mm.
You're like, oh, I'm at lunch, because he only would work like a couple hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to get there when he was open. So
Yeah.
Fortunately, he was there. And so I went and talked to him and found out that, that this Graven Image book was basically his movie poster collection. And so he told me, now those of you guys that are familiar with Hollywood Boulevard probably would know Larry Edmunds bookstore, which is on Hollywood Boulevard, and it was like kind of a mainstay for movie posters and movie books and things.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally right across the street from Larry Edmunds. And so he was saying that he was a teacher when this was in the 70s. He said Larry Edmunds had put up in their window a copy or a original Frankenstein movie poster. And, Boris Karloff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he saw it, and they wanted, what was it? $2,000 or something in the 70s, which is a lot of money, right?
A lot of money back then.
And so he was a teacher, and he borrowed money from like one of those loan shark places, where you where they loan you the money, but it's super high interest.
Mm-hmm.
And but he just knew. He said he had to have it because he knew it was going to be valuable.
Yeah.
And so he basically borrowed this $2,000 at like 10% or 12% interest,
Mm-hmm.
and then paid it back. And that was something I would never do in a million years. But then now he's got this movie poster that's worth close to $1 million now.
Wow.
So good investment, but you got to have balls enough to do it. And I never had the balls to take risks like that.
Yeah.
But once he told me that story, I was like, God, you're right. I got to quit. Like, if I see something, even if it's going to cost me a little bit of money or put me out, and I know it's going to be worth something, grab it. Of course, by the time I heard that story, everything was so freaking expensive that it was, it wasn't even feasible to buy some of the stuff that I wanted.
Yeah, I had what was that Secret Origins that Kevin Nolan did? Remember that one?
The Man Bat, yeah.
Man, I had an opportunity to buy like 4 pages from that.
Oh,
had them in my hand, and I didn't have any cash on me. They weren't doing cards back then.
Yeah.
And I told the guy, I said, "Hey, can you hold these for me until tomorrow?"
So you get some money.
Yeah, and I said, "I'll pay for them." And I even had a guy who'd vouch for me and stuff like that. And I said, "All I have to do is, go to my my bank and withdraw it and get it to you." Next day,
Do you remember how?
they were selling them for like $150 to $200 a page.
Oh man, okay.
And come back, all of it was gone. And I was like, "Hey, you're supposed to be holding this stuff." He said, "Oh man, I forgot." I'm like, "How do you forget from just the, you know what I mean? This is business. What are you talking about? What do you mean you forgot?" And I was just so hot. And I could have had those things. And I know the owner who has them is like, he'll never post them on Comic Art Fans or anything because he just doesn't want people asking him about it. Are they for sale? You gonna trade them? You gonna have them? That kind of thing.
Oh man,
he's like Gollum. He's got that ring. Oh, the precious.
He never parting with these. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. That's when it really sucks, is because you had the money in your hand, ready to part with it, and it was like, oh yeah, no, I sold those.
Yeah.
I
was so pissed, and I'm sure he probably told the guy that, "Oh, these are on hold," and he said, "Well, what is he paying?" He's 100, and he probably raised the price just a little just to sell it to him.
Yeah.
But came to me and said, "Oh, I forgot." I was like, you know what? That's
the thing is, it's really hard, and this as an artist selling original art. When people come by the table and say that to you, "Oh yeah, can you hold this for me? I'll be back," and blah blah blah, and you never are 100% sure if they're ever going to come back.
Yeah.
And so I've had, I occasionally I'll have people that will ask me if I can. If they can, like buy a piece of artwork from me on layaway or something, right? And I'm like, and I've had people screw me over more than once where I held it and held it and held it, and they just never bought it. And, you passed up on other people that wanted it. And you said, "No, I'm holding it for so-and-so," and then they don't end up getting it. Yeah. And because things happen, right? Anything can happen to people, that screws up your finances that you don't know is going to happen, and then you can't fulfill your obligation. So what I've done is I will take like a down payment on a piece of artwork, but I tell everybody, this is non-refundable. So if you flake out, I'm keeping your money. And so I figure that's a good enough incentive, and it kind of protects me a little bit.
Yeah. Dan Lawless chimed in and said, do these guys ever read their chat? Yeah, we just don't want to read your nonsense.
We're drawing right now. This isn't Graybirds. We don't have Gary here who, by the way, rarely reads the chat anyway.
Yeah. So we're in character.
That's exactly right. We're doing exactly what we normally do. So.
Marcus Killigrew, don't feed the troll.
Oh.
So I noticed on your I was looking at your pterodactyl wings,
Yeah.
and then the ones that I got reference for.
Yeah.
You do them wrong.
Do I?
Yeah.
Maybe I do them right.
No, you give them more like dragon wings.
Well, what do you? I'm not sure. What do you? What are you saying exactly? What do you?
You give it more scallops, you know, instead of it being like, you know what I mean? This simpler shape.
Oh,
You give
yeah.
it bat wing type things.
Yes, I do. It's more interesting.
Well, okay. Well, at least you admit it that you're wrong.
It's called stylization, man. Like, look at how dudes used to, like, look at how Wally Wood and Frazetta used to draw T-Rexes, and look how they're drawn now. Not the same.
That is true.
So when you're dealing with stuff where, and I take a lot of license with dinosaurs because, honestly, depending on who the artist is, you can interpret skeletal remains, you know, what's covering those skeletal remains. You can interpret those a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
Yeah, and I do push the that sort of angled wing look, that Batman look, if you will. So I just think it looks better. So, like, hey, Jurassic Park made up dinosaurs to put in their movies, so why can't I?
That's a way of looking at it.
That's the way I look at it. Like that thing that the like the fins on its side of its neck and spit the mud in the guy's eye to blind him.
Yeah.
Completely fabricated for that movie.
Aren't all dinosaurs completely fabricated?
Well, they are to a certain extent. I mean, I would argue that there's I need to know that there's at least probably 60%, and the right 60% of a skeletal remain before I'll accept that it's what they're trying to push on me.
Yeah.
Because I just think there's a ton of misidentification and I've got proof that it's happened in history. And I'm sure that it's the stuff that isn't talked about is probably way more than the few examples of they misidentified like a pig's tooth, thinking it was a caveman tooth and all this kind of stuff. So I mean that stuff happens, I'm sure, all the time, and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
But I think there were dinosaurs. I just don't think there were as many dinosaurs as they want us to think there were.
Yeah.
Because so many of those dinosaurs they've created just on very limited remains that they've discovered, and they just kind of, and I just wonder if it's like, if they're properly, they're saying, well, this is a new species, or maybe it's a bone from an already identified species, and you're just not, you don't realize it. So
it's a bone from KFC.
That's right. That's right. So, it's like they discovered the T-Rex Sioux in Wyoming, and it was the 80% of the skeletal fossil was there. So I figured that's a pretty good indication that that thing existed, and it existed in how it's being interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
You got 80% of the skeleton, that's pretty good. But if you got like part of a jawbone and you're telling me that this is a whole new dinosaur, it's like, how in the world can you possibly know that?
Yeah.
You're just guessing. And so I don't buy into that. I want facts, man.
I was never really as a kid, into the dinosaur thing, but I liked the obviously, fake dinosaurs like Godzilla and stuff like that. I know you're the opposite.
Dude,
that's not how it would be.
I was so into dinosaurs as a kid. Oh my gosh. It was the coolest thing ever. But I've always been kind of obviously a monster kid, and you know, crocodiles and things like that are like, you know, modern day dinosaurs. Great white sharks are scary. I mean, I don't know. I always like that stuff.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was real little, like kindergarten, I was drawing that early. You know, I wasn't one of these kids that started drawing when they were 8 or 9. I mean, I was drawing practically right out of the womb.
Yeah.
And so I would draw these, like, I imagined creating like a theme park of dinosaurs, and I would like figure out how I could make the dinosaurs out of wood, you know, and build these giant like replica dinosaur things, and that would be my dinosaur park. Because we went on vacation to Yellowstone,
Mm-hmm.
which is in Wyoming, and they had like one of the motels we stayed at. Because we'd have like my dad had a camper on the back of the truck, you know, very old school, and we would just go places and go fishing and camp and stuff like that. And we'd camp in the camper, obviously not in tents. But if we were driving through some place like Yellowstone, there was like this roadside motel. You know, it was like all log cabiny looking, and they had this play area, I guess you'd call, for the kids. But they had dinosaurs probably made out of fiberglass, but they were like full size
Mm-hmm.
in this like park area that surrounded this motel. And so they had a T-Rex in there, and they had like a pteranodon or a pterodactyl, whatever you want to call it, hanging from a tree, you know, one of these giant pine trees. And it had such an impression on me as a little kid. It was the coolest thing ever. So I came home from these vacations, and I would like, okay, I've got to invent my own dinosaur park.
That's awesome.
So, as I was saying before you came on, I've been a dinosaur kid forever, and that's why I'm so excited to be drawing this book. So I've never got to do this.
Get to work it out.
That's right. So. I'm gonna have to get that piece from you. I got to get some money, but I got to get that piece from you. I love that.
Don't say that until it's finished.
Okay, here we go. Anna, that Star Wars girl, is in the chat. She says Aaron is the dinosaur denier. I'm not a denier. I do believe in dinosaurs. I'm just a little bit skeptical of the scenarios that were being pushed on us. That's all.
Are you one of the persons that believes that humans and dinosaurs coexisted and they were?
Yes.
Okay. But do you believe that they were like men were riding them like horses?
No.
Meet them and all that kind of stuff?
No. I just think but again, I may have a slightly biased biblical viewpoint of all this, but I tend to think, because they have found dinosaurs and human footprints on the same level of soil. I know that they found that in a riverbed.
I mean, look, you find the same footprints and paw prints of men and bears. It doesn't mean that, you know, at the time they were.
Well, from the same level of soil, it must mean they existed within the same period of time.
Yeah.
Right. That's my point. So if they did, and that's not to say that you couldn't have had a whole, you know, range of dinosaurs in North America and all over the place, because the population center was in the Middle East, you know, at the beginning of time, or biblically speaking. So you hadn't had the population of the world spread out that far. So yeah, theoretically there could have been a ton of them, I suppose. But yeah, I tend to think that the Noah's flood is what wiped out dinosaurs. But I also don't really believe there was as intricate a ecosystem of dinosaurs as they want us to believe there was.
Yeah.
So, but it's nothing I can prove other than just my feelings on it and what makes sense based on what I know, which isn't a lot. Because I really, for someone who's as big a dinosaur fan as I am, I don't really study that stuff.
Yeah.
I just look at the pictures. I used to read a lot more about it, but but I've given up reading a long time ago, so it's hard for me to keep up on that stuff. It's hard to keep up on stuff when you don't read.
There's too much stuff to
Yeah, exactly.
You just go, forget it.
Yep. Just give me a book with nice pictures in it, and I'll use that.
Or you listen to books, on YouTube or something like that.
Well, I do listen to people talk.
Yeah.
On YouTube and give explanations, and there's some really. I don't believe in aliens either, and I don't believe that aliens have ever visited this planet because I just don't think it's physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
I love how people just sort of ignore the laws of physics when it comes to aliens.
Well, I always go, if they could do it, why do they always crash here? It's so stupid.
How dumb are these aliens?
I'm like,
but
really? You got this super tech and you crash here?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so there's a couple of guys that are doing videos on YouTube that say people say they can say whatever they want to say about themselves, and I'm not going to probably check, but they, these are like physicists or whatever, allegedly giving these sort of lectures on why, basically space travel is impossible. And they just break down the laws of physics. And it's just you just can't do it. It's not possible. And so therefore they've kind of said that aliens have never, visited this world, and they never will, and will never reach another, because it's just not possible to do. And so I've listened to stuff like that I find pretty interesting, and I kind of agree with the sentiment, although I don't really understand the science. But I do know that, you can't. Star Trek is cool, but you can't really travel the speed of light.
Yeah.
And even if you could, that still wouldn't be fast enough. All these other galaxies and stuff are so far away. So, but that's just one more position I take that probably pisses off a lot of people. I actually lost a backer once on because I was kind of mocking dinosaurs,
mm-hmm.
and he was a paleontologist. And he demanded a refund, And I was like, dude, I said, settle down, man. I said, all I'm doing is saying that this is theory, and there's people that there's scientists that don't agree on this stuff. So you can't sit there and present it as fact when you can't even reach there's no disagreement. Then I cited 3 prominent guys that disagreed with that, and then he got all pissed at me and said that he goes, I write papers on this stuff, and I go, I don't care if you've written books. That still doesn't mean you're right, And so he just, and he goes, I didn't write you to have a discussion about this. Just refund my money. And I'm like, okay, fine. Jeez, man.
My goodness.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I piss off everybody. It's not necessarily trying to, but
you're just dividing the wheat from the chaff.
That's right. Now, see, okay, Jiminy Cricket. Now, this is just a BS argument. He's saying thinking advanced aliens couldn't possibly know more about physics than humans is pretty wild. Dude, there are physical laws that have to be adhered to. Just because you're smarter doesn't mean you can change the laws of physics. They are what they are. That's what I'm arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. But then, Jimmy's also saying back barbaric adventures. So now we're friends again. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. We could all politely agree to disagree.
Right. I mean, why not have a little civil discourse? What's wrong with that? Call each other idiots and then move on.
I mean, personally, I'm right about everything, so
That's right.
it's hard for me to,
It's hard for you to kind of tolerate us dummies who don't know what you know.
Hold on, I gotta let my dog out.
I mean, I believe cave girls like this really existed. So I'm just representing history right now.
I'm back. I think I'm going to pencil this like as tight as I possibly can. Because I'm not going to ink it. I'll give it to Gary to ink.
Man,
You're on now. I don't want it.
I want pure Williams.
All right.
Gary's all pissed at me now. He's like, oh, what can I eat that?
So, son of a...
Man, I'd hate to be an inker in modern comics. It's
Why?
like, well, because you're needed less and less as time goes on.
Oh, yeah, well, that for sure.
You got
say their page rates are great.
Yeah. But it's like artists more often than not want to ink themselves now. And then if you don't, you can, there's digital inking and all this kind of stuff that sort of has gotten in the way of the art of inking.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got guys like Danny Mickey and Norm Rapman and pretty much top of the food chain in inkers, looking for work.
Yeah.
That's not a very encouraging.
That is true. We had an inker when we were working at Consumer Products, and then he was hand inking a lot of stuff before they started using the computer and hyper clean,
Mm-hmm.
And he just refused to learn Photoshop. He just wanted to do, hand inking. He said, "Oh, that's not what I do," because they offered him and they would put him in classes to still learn, keep him on. It's just hard headed. They just said, "Yeah, we don't need you anymore."
Say, okay, well, if you're not going to learn. Well, okay, there's two ways to look at this, and I think when you're doing what you were doing at Warner Brothers, where you're not really getting sort of recognition for, your individual achievements as an artist.
Yeah.
Then it really does become sort of commercial art in the purest sense of that word.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that big a deal because you're not necessarily out there looking to sell or, look at all these Batman sketches I did for this, this line of pajamas or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I never understood the comic book market where there is a healthy original art market, and just to give that up as a source of income. And I know there's guys that don't sell their work, so they don't really care. But I was never that guy. I was never the guy that could afford to not sell my originals to help pay bills. And why you would give that up and do stuff digitally, so you don't have an original anymore. I never understood that, especially guys that could make a lot of money selling the originals. We've talked about guys like, David Finch and stuff, who, he still does traditional stuff, but he was doing, I don't know what he's doing right now, but I know there was a period of time he was working digitally. And, Jorge Jimenez is another guy, very popular Batman artist, all digital.
Really?
Yes.
That's so crazy.
And he sells, like, if you go to the guys that are selling his artwork, they do a one-off print of his digital stuff and sell it as an original piece of artwork.
Wow.
But you're not getting the original, you're just getting the one print of that artwork that he, did on his computer. And so you're just like, I guess some people buy that, but I wouldn't. To me,
I don't like that, not even a little bit.
Oh. At that point, you might as well just scan the comic book page and blow it up and yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you got guys that could, get $1,000 plus a page, it's like, whoa, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a capitalist and not enough of a purist, but it's hard to walk away from that and just say, I'm going to do it digitally because it's faster. Okay, it is faster, but
I think the only thing I would ever want to do art-wise digitally is color.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to ink. I wouldn't want to draw it on there. I got into the business because I loved drawing, the actual tactile touching of the paper. And
yes.
And especially after seeing original art pages, you see the blue line or the pencils or the erasing and the whiteout. Seeing whiteout on a page, I used to throw away artwork if I messed up, if I didn't ink it right or this, that, and the other. But seeing professionals messing up and smudges, and how they treated like production art, there'd be coffee stains sometimes. I don't like that part, but just still seeing it, how imperfect it is, and then it's perfect in the book, it was fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, it's so cool because because you're getting, it's almost like, if you get a page from an artist, say John Buscema or whatever, and there's whiteout on it, you almost feel like you're sitting in the studio with him, and you're just.
Sometimes there's cigarette smoke. You could smell it on the art.
Yeah.
I said, this guy was drawing and just puffing away, blowing right on the art.
There's like ashes. It's like Kelsey, it's like there's cigarette ashes all over the artwork.
Exactly.
Still whiskey on it. And it adds to the sense of history to it. And it's like, you're not going to, like, there was I'm sure some people saw it. There was a traveling show on Marvel Comics, and they had Jack Kirby. They had a ton of original artwork, right, on display along with a bunch of other things, and it was so cool. Like, they had Jack Kirby's drawing table, and just to go up there, it sounds stupid. You just go up there and touch the drawing table, and you go, Jack used this. And there was a original cover that he had done, and a lot of people donated the use of their artwork from their artwork collection to display in this thing. I can't imagine what the insurance was on this traveling show, but they had like one of the covers to Tales to Astonish. I think it was Tales to Astonish 34. There's there's a monster at my window,
Mhm.
and they had the original to that, and it had the Tales to Astonish paste up on it, the logo paste up, and it's just so cool to see that, in all the phases of it. And digitally, it's just, you can go in there and you make everything perfect, and it just, it looks nice for print, for publication. And I know a lot of guys, that's all they care about, right? It's just like, that's, but to me, it's like, I love, and maybe it's because I'm an artist, and I know we have a lot of artists in the chat that are the same way, but it's like, just holding that original piece of art, it's just cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of my first earliest art that I got to see was like Gil Kane's art in person. And this is like the stuff when he would ink himself with like felt pens.
Yeah. No.
It was already dulling already, and it hasn't even been around that long. But I was still amazed by it. I was just like, you did this? This is crazy. It was just awesome to see.
Yeah. I don't, you can't get that from, obviously a digital reproduction. Steve and Heather says, I got $500 for a digital print, but I had to include the computer I created it on.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So Marcus Killigrew is saying we have 368 backers now. So we picked up a backer during this show. So we're basically, let me bring this campaign up real quick. Here we go. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can see it. Okay, so we have 368 backers right now. That means we are 32 backers away from 400. When we get to 400, we will not auction, raffle off a piece of original artwork that either it'll be mine or Dan Lawless is promising to create. So we'll see. But even if Dan doesn't come through, I will, because I have stuff sitting here waiting. And no pressure, Dan.
All the pressure, Dan.
Yeah. So yeah, he was talking about creating a new piece simply for the raffle. So that's pretty darn cool. And we'll do that as soon as we get 32 more backers. What this is, if you don't know, and I know most of you know, but you got to listen to this anyway. It's a 64-page square-bound magazine format, which means it's 8.5 by 11, so it's larger than a regular comic book. Black and white, yes, just like, but with tonal rendering, just like, some of the best Savage Tales and Conan magazines were back in the day. Also, Creepy and Eerie did the same thing, and I really liked that stuff growing up because you could really see the artwork and really appreciate what the artists were doing. This has 3 main stories in it, one by me called Primal Zone, which is the story of a reluctant hero cast into an interdimensional world of dinosaurs and cavemen. Holy crap, can it get any better than that? David Williams is going to do a story of a young medieval knight who battles a horde of demons in a quest to become a true warrior. Finally, Dan Lawless takes us, I updated this, Dan. Dan Lawless takes us to a futuristic Mars where high-tech society has fallen into savage chaos and one man leads a rebellion to defeat the corrupt powers that have seized control. I think that sounds like a pretty good elevator pitch, Dan. I think you should use it. Mm-hmm. And Gary Martin also contributes to this. He gets to do the inside front cover pinup. And I'm also feeling like I'm going to do an inside back cover pinup. So there'll be a double pinup action there. Also, I'm going to do a 4-page preview story featuring Freya the Ice Princess and Yeti Slayer. But anyway, you've got 4 cover options. They're all painted because we're trying to stay in that traditional vibe of Savage Tales. So this is my painted cover. This is David's painted cover featuring his character, of course. This is Dan's painted cover, and he's threatening to perhaps throw some red in this to spice it up. So this may not actually be the final color scheme for this cover, but this is Dan Lawless's cover featuring his character. And then, of course, we got the great Joe Jusko contributed a cover, a painted cover for this featuring Freya the Ice Princess, who, of course, is a Yeti slayer. And sure enough, she's slain a Yeti on this cover. Here's some of the interior artwork by me. Look at this groovy stuff with the ink wash. Look at that page.
Wow.
That's not a cover. That's an interior page, guys. So that's the kind of stuff you're looking at.
Yep.
You don't want to miss this. Here's Dan's interior work. And there's another page by Dan. Look at all that how much that gray adds to the depth of this. Look at that lighting effect on that dude's face. That's so good. Love that. So anyway, there's a couple pages, and of course, David is in the layout stage of his, and he's one of those guys who does all these layouts. We're like, just finish the page. He's like, I'm getting there. So when I have a finished page from David, we will throw it up here so you can see what he's doing. There's a couple of items, this 4-plate portfolio, barbaric portfolio, signed by me in an illustrated envelope. This is exclusive to the Big Barbaric box, which is one of the rewards tiers. And this cover, this is a color rough, not the finished painting, but this will be a painted cover, and it's only available in the Big Barbaric box as well. So you can't like add it on. You have to buy the Big Barbaric box to get this cover and this portfolio. You can also get the Barbaric Adventures sketchbook, 32 pages. And everything that I do on these live streams with David is going in this Barbaric Adventures sketchbook, along with a bunch of other stuff that I have that will be going in there. You can get this limited edition signed snow hunt print featuring Freya, the Ice Princess, and Yeti Hunter. Get the shot glass with Barbaric Adventures laser etched into the glass. We're doing like a series of 6 of these shot glasses. This is number 5. So if you've been collecting the shot glasses, you want to continue to do that. And here's some original art that's for sale. This was one of the sketches I did with David on one of our AD 2026 shows. And this will be in the book, but it's also, the original was for sale and has already been sold. So I guess I should probably take that down.
Oh, that's the pterodactyl with the bat wings.
Yeah, but see, it looks cool. Looks cool, man. This is still available, this promo art featuring our hero beating up cavemen. The original to page 1 and 2 are also for sale.
Man, you're putting so much stuff. This is awesome.
I am going to town, man. This is a dream project for me. And then, of course, my cover is for sale as well. David's cover was for sale, but it already sold. So that's why it's not listed. So on the new Indiegogo, it's formatted so you have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page to find anything. There's nothing on the side except the one pinned reward, which is the 4-pack plus. You get all 4 covers plus the sketchbook for $105. That's $120 value. So you're saving $15 there on that. You can order a shot glass separately if you want, because those ship separately in a little boxes. And you can get each of the covers separately. There they are listed. Or you can get combo packs like the sketchbook and my cover for a $5 savings, or my cover sketchbook and the snow hunt print for a $5 savings. And here's the Big Barbaric box. That's a $210 value for $185. You're saving $25 on this. So you're basically getting that extra cover that's only available in the box for free. I'm just throwing it in there. So you keep scrolling down, you see the original art that's still available for sale. And then you get down to the add-ons at the bottom. You can add on any of these extra items to your order, including some back issues of Wraith of God 1, 2, and 3. If you've missed out on those, Kit Carter, graphic novel, Garbage Man trade, the Power Cube trade, Save from the Trash sketchbook, all 4 covers. Again, you can add, if you want 2 or 3 of the same cover, you can add them on here, and then the Kit Carter sketchbook. So that is your paid announcement advertisement for today. Look at that, man. We are $43 away from 29,000. Somebody watching right now, it's got to get in there and back and get us up over 29,000 so David and I can feel good about ourselves.
There you go. Please share this on your pages if you don't mind.
Yes. And we thank you guys, all you guys that have backed already. We appreciate it so much. And keep spreading the word. And we will continue to push this. 21 days left. That's 3 weeks, guys. And this thing is over. So let's get the word out. And you'll find a link in the description of this video, as well as pinned to the top of the chat of this video, as well as on my profile page on Twitter or X, or you can just go to Indiegogo, type in Aaron Lopresti or Barbaric Adventures, and it'll come right up and you can back there. So thank you very much for your attention to this matter. Now, back to drawing. So yeah, when I get this done, I'm going to ink wash this. I might marker it, and then I'm going to put this up for sale as well on the campaign page. So I will let you guys know when that happens. But I do want to finish inking this before we close out today.
I think that's what I'm going to do on this piece. I'm going to ink wash it.
I think you should. It's just going to cost me more money, though, if you do.
Is that how that works with ink wash?
Yeah, you charge more money when you ink wash it, right?
I guess.
I
It's still technically ink, so that's why it is.
Yeah, but you can ink it with line, right? But then you ink it with line plus ink wash, then it's more work, right?
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at it. But you notice what I did here, David. When we did last time we were together doing this stuff, this drawing, I had a different drawing.
Mm-hmm.
With a big T-Rex and a little tiny girl. Now I've got a big girl and a little tiny T-Rex.
Yeah. Had to switch it up.
That's right. I mean, you know what, Aaron? I think you're moving in the wrong direction here, pal.
Yeah, it's this chick's hair I'm trying to figure out. What's her name?
I got you thinking about the flowing hair, don't I?
Yeah.
Ooh. What did you say that these girls are using Prel?
Prel, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Or Wella Balsam, either one.
Wella That's right. I remember that too. Wella Balsam. Give your hair that full body look.
You want your hair to have volume. Try Prel.
I remember all those like Calgon bath, you know.
Yeah. You're soaking in it.
Yeah. Palmolive, right?
Yeah.
I'm soaking in dishwashing liquid?
Yeah.
Relax, it's Palmolive. I think they still make Palmolive. I'm not sure. I think they do.
We used to do that with, kids are squeezing girls' butts and stuff. Squeezing a Sherman.
I kind of vaguely remember doing that, maybe once or twice. Call from Kevin Grievous.
No, it's some spam.
I do like the fact that my cell phone tells me when it's spam.
Yeah. Ay, ay, ay. There you go. Ancient Chinese secret. Can't do those. Can't do those commercials anymore.
Was that for? That was like take the wrinkles out of your clothes or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, some.
Because you would go into this dry cleaners, and it was run by this Chinese couple, this older Chinese couple, right?
Yeah.
And the guy would always go, "Ancient Chinese secret," because he'd go, "How do you get my shirts looking so white?"
And he would squint his eyes even more. I was like, "Is that even necessary?"
When his wife would come in and go, "We need more Clorox," and then the white lady who's picking up her shirts would go, "Ancient Chinese secret." He just kind of shrugged. Oh my gosh. The good old days. Oh, where it was fun to be insensitive. Although I don't really know. I mean, is that really insensitive though? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is.
We do that in class. It's like a teacher would go, "Do you know the answer to this?" They go, "Yes." She goes, "What is it?" And they go, "Ancient Chinese." Go to the principal's office. Mm.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. It's funny, my mom is like watching like all these old television shows now.
Mm-hmm.
And just so she's like on this Ironside kick. You remember that with Raymond Burr?
Mm-hmm.
Police chief in a wheelchair, and it was early. It started in, I think, as early. It might have been 19. It was either, I don't think it was any later than 72 when that series premiered.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like the one, just to listen to the way these guys talk and the fashions and stuff, it's just really funny.
Oh yeah.
It was a pretty good show, actually. Ran for 8 seasons, which if you can get a show to run for 2 seasons these days, it's like a miracle. I guess there's some ancient Chinese secret to a long-lasting television show. So are you retiring for today? Saying that's it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do an ink wash on it next time. I mean, I'm gonna have to do some inking on it, but I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're not going to do any line work on it. You're just going to go in with a wash.
Yeah. No, I mean it will have line work. Probably like maybe the contour lines around her to make her pop forward.
Yeah.
But everything else will probably be like ink wash type thing, just to push things forward and back.
Gotcha.
That's why I was wondering about the hair, because I wanted to feel, because she's redhead, and I just want the hair to seem soft.
Well, so you're thinking of ink washing the hair then instead of keeping it real soft rather than, okay, I got you.
Yeah. And I'll probably, maybe do the contour around her hair after. It depends on how well the hair looks without it.
Well, why don't you go in like you used to do with the ink it with the gray marker and then ink wash over that?
I mean, I might. I mean,
been telling me to do that for years, and I still haven't.
I'll figure it out. Headless Bourgeoisie just came in and said, "Hail Aaron and hail David, hail chat." He just now got here.
Dude, man, you've been missing all the action. Oh, I want to remind everybody too that I'm going to put an end to the Graybeards poll. If we don't
No one's voting.
Huh?
No one's voting.
It was like 20 votes last time I checked. So we're just gonna run or dictatorship and just like do whatever we want if we don't start getting more votes. Just you don't necessarily take that as a threat. Take it as a promise.
Yeah, we got only 24 votes. What is that?
Yep. So if we don't get our goal is, and I said this last week, if we don't get 150 votes in the poll, then the poll goes out the window, and then David can basically, it's his week. He can choose Batman every week if he wants to.
That's right.
And he may just do that. I'm almost done. Hang with me. Hang with me. Was it you who asked me who my favorite dinosaur artist was in comics?
Yes. And you
What
said
did I say?
you said Fred Hembeck. Why are you laughing?
Whatever happened to Fred Hembeck?
And I knew I made it when he did a parody of one of my covers.
Did he really?
He did. And I was like, yeah. I loved him when I was a child. I used to copy his drawings and all this kind of stuff. And it was awesome. I was like, I made it.
Well, what's interesting about Hembeck is he was making a living, I assume, doing what he did in an industry that really didn't promote that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
But he had sort of, I don't even know if they're right. I don't want to say infiltrated because that makes it sound like it was like devious, but he was able to become a part of the industry, like through fanzines and different things like that. Because I don't know that, did he actually do a book for Marvel at one point? Like Fred Hembeck Destroys the Marvel Universe or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
It does sound familiar.
But for the most part, he was just doing like cartooning about comics.
Yeah.
But was actually a fairly prominent figure there for quite some time.
Yeah. We used to talk on Facebook until I got kicked off.
Well, Scott Shaw was another guy that, of course, he worked in animation, though, didn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was another guy, Rick Geary. Remember him? He used to be like...
Oh, yeah. He lives out here.
Oh, does he really?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Scott Shaw, the last time I saw him, he was in we were leaving a show, and he was in a wheelchair, and I wanted to,
really?
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Oh, gosh. A couple years ago.
Well, because I saw him, well, it was three or 4 years ago it was post-COVID, so it wasn't that long ago, at a show in California where he was at, and he was walking around, as I recall.
Yeah.
Because he came, so I don't know if he was, sick or hurt, injured or something when you saw him, but last time I saw him, unless you've seen him more recently than me.
No, I mean, probably that was the last show I was at,
Yeah.
But it was one of those things. I thought he needed, someone to push more, and someone came around, and I guess he was waiting for somebody.
Yeah, but he was. So I saw him. Got to talk to him a little bit. I said a few conservative things at the table, and some people filtered away. I try not to do that at comic book shows, especially.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, your opinion about something comes out.
You can't help it. It's like you're vomiting. You can't stop vomiting. Say, hey, stop projectile. So it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was just, I don't know, man. I do kind of, as much as I'm a 70s kid that grew up, reading comics mostly in the 70s, I really appreciate the 80s and what was going on. It was just, I hate to use this word, but it was so diverse in terms of types of talent and projects and things that were happening in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It really was kind of that sort of second renaissance behind, I guess you'd say the 60s, when Kirby and Stan Lee basically, and Ditko, I guess, created the Marvel Universe as we know it.
Yeah.
There's so much cool stuff going on, and it wasn't just all at Marvel and DC. There was, interesting independent stuff going on, and I actually got back into comics in the 80s after sort of, dropping out of it when I turned 16, which would have been the late 70s, or 1980, I guess it was. And then later in the 80s, when I was in college, I started getting back into it because there was so much cool stuff going on. Will we ever see it again that way? I don't think so. I might be pessimistic, but
she's gonna slice his throat out.
what the heck was that?
I was trying to do a T-Rex.
Oh, I see. Oh my gosh. Jiminy Cricket says, indies, mature comics, manga, so much great stuff. The 80s were a magical time for comics. They really were. Okay. Hellas Bourgeoisie says, the only thing I hate about comics in the 80s was the retirement of DC's war, Western, and horror titles. Well, that's, they brought in all that stuff in the 70s because superhero comics weren't selling that well. But then, again, largely you can thank Frank Miller, I guess Chris Claremont, Walter Simonson, and John Byrne for revitalizing superheroes. And then, so when superheroes became this bad again, all the other stuff fell by the wayside because no one was buying it now. No one was buying my Dinosaur comic, David. So here we are.
It don't matter. It's for the love of the game.
That's right, man. If I ever get around to either retiring by choice or being forced into retirement because I can't do it anymore, I'm going to make sure I have one really cool Dinosaur comic. And that's exactly what we're doing with Barbaric Adventures magazine. Think of that segue.
That's right.
And of course, I am. This is my female lead in Barbaric Adventures. So this is relevant to the campaign. All right, I'm gonna have to knock in some background, but we'll do that at a different time. All right, so there you go. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna indicate a little bit of background right there. I might just actually do that in gray. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So when David and I next join you guys later this week, we will attempt to finish up these pieces. But you can see, I'll go ahead and make this large. So that's what we got going right here.
Nice.
If that girl could control her hair, she might be safe. But well. So that's Celia, my cave girl from Primal Zone. And then David is working on the same character, or his, oops, what happened? I hit the wrong button. There we go. So this is David's interpretation of her and getting chased by a, as he calls it, a pterodactyl.
A real one.
Yeah, no, actually you do, because you have the wings attached to like the thighs of the, which is kind of how they go, but I kind of dropped that, because I wanted a little more independent movement on the wings and the legs. So
did you see Karan Kaiser Stone came in?
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
He said he was going to draw something for this book. So there he is. He says, hi guys, you can add polls directly on StreamYard now. People can vote during the show on the stream. That sounds like I have to read something to figure that out. So chances of that happening, yeah, probably not great. Jiminy Cricket says that's some Gene Colan level awesomeness, Bro Hawks.
Oh, thank you. He would not do Tiggo Bitties as big as I did.
No, he would not have. Stat Zero, hey Stat, thanks for joining us. Says that's a Johnny Quest Fantasia style dino you got going there. So there you go. And David always strives to be accurate. Right.
He's talking about you.
No, he's talking about you.
No, he's talking about you.
No, I think he's talking about you.
Okay. I'll take it.
Well, whatever. Whoever he's talking about. we both thank you. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of AD 2026. That's Aaron and David. You couldn't figure it out. And these are kind of a throwback to our original draw streams before it sprouted into Graybeards. So we just kind of randomly come on whenever we're able and work on this stuff and promote Barbaric Adventures. So,
Uh-oh, gotta look at that.
holy smokes, Mustang Trainer. Are you kidding me? 20 big ones. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. He says, I've said it before, but I am so glad you guys are part of CG. To have access that convention fans don't, and your willingness to sell us your art at the friends and family prices, and we get to know about your lives. Pretty cool. Well, I don't know about the friends and family price. I guess when we auction it, right, that sort of leaves it up to the fans to decide how much they're going to pay. But thank you for that, Mustang Trainer. I appreciate it. It is cool that in this day and age that we can do like videos like this, and you guys can, if you're into the art and like to watch it being created, it's very accessible. So Karan says, yeah, you don't have to read stuff, and I'm definitely doing something for sure, by the way. Okay, there you go. So you're going to get a Karan pinup apparently in Barbaric Adventures. I have no idea what he's going to do, but that's fine.
You got to do all of our characters together.
That's right. Well, he probably, knowing him, he probably would.
I know, right? You know what? He'd probably make them look better than ours.
I know. He's
Matter of fact, Corinne, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Don't do it after all. Yeah, well, he may end up taking the back inside front cover now.
Yeah, right.
Or the inside back cover, excuse me.
Yeah.
So anyway, but thank you for the super chats, you guys, and thank you for the viewership. We have a pretty big audience right now, and we thank you guys for watching. We'll probably be back on Thursday, either Thursday or Friday. We'll see how it plays out and finish these pieces up. And so join us then and watch that. And Professionals tonight at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Graybeards, 2 o'clock Pacific time on Wednesday. So thank you guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye.